Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and today I'm doing the Booktube Community Tag. I was tagged to do this by Sue's Book Nook and I was very surprised because since I began this channel I wasn't 100% sure I was part of Booktube. I talk about mostly manga on my channel, and as much as I would argue with you that manga are just as valid reading as any other types of prose, I don't necessarily feel really connected to the booktube community. Like I participate in the tags and I participate in readathons and things, but I am so different in my reading from the majority of people who are on booktube, so I have always been questioning that. So thank you so much, Sue, for tagging me in this video, because I finally know that I am part of booktube, so I can answer these questions. I always just sort of wasn't really sure how other people saw me, and so it's nice to know at least one person can validate the fact that I am also part of BookTube. Yeah, so this is a tag about basically the BookTube community and how you interact with it, and I do interact with it probably a little bit differently than a lot of people. I'm just going to go through the questions, but creator of this tag as well as all the questions and anyone I tag are going to be down in the description below, so go and check it out if you're interested. Anyway, I'm just going to get into it and let you know my answers. So the first question is, how long have you been watching BookTube? I started watching BookTube about 6 months before I started my channel. I didn't come at it to the point that a lot of people that I've heard say, oh, they discovered that there were people talking about books on YouTube. I assumed there were people talking about books on YouTube, and I was thinking to myself, because previously I had started watching the planner community and I was getting really involved in watching planner videos and, you know, people who were making bullet journals and things, and I thought I probably couldn't sustain that, but I sure could sustain a channel about manga. So I want to see what other people are doing, and so I went out looking for BookTube. I didn't know what it was called at the time, but I went looking for you. So that's how I started watching, and then, you know, kind of incorporated a lot of kind of the very basic things that everyone does on BookTube into my own channel while I talk about manga. How long have you been a booktuber? I'm either a booktuber as of today because I was tagged by Sue, or I've been a booktuber since I started making videos about manga, and that started in January of 2016, so I've been doing this just over 2.5 years. Question number 3 is, how many countries are on your sub list? So this is how many countries are subscribed to you, and I actually paused the video when I was watching Sue do this because I was so curious about my own stats that I went and had to check it out to see how I compared before I knew she had tagged me. So I've written it down here. I've got 86 countries who are subscribed to me. There was actually a list of 161 countries who have watched my videos or who have subscribed in the past and then unsubscribed for some unknown reasons, but there are still currently 86 countries represented in my subscribers, and it's so incredibly humbling to look at that number and see just how many places people are that are watching my channel. It's a little overwhelming, actually. I did write down the top people who are watching, or the countries that are represented the most number of subscribers. So any country that has over 10 subscribers, I wrote down. So starting with Malaysia at 10, Denmark at 11, Romania at 13. I don't know if I've talked to anyone who's from Romania. You've never mentioned it to me, so that's very cool. Portugal at 13, Ireland at 13, Italy 15, Sweden 17, the Netherlands 20, India 20, Mexico 21, Spain 22, Germany 22, Brazil 25, the Philippines 33. I know that there's actually really solid manga publishing in the Philippines, which is very inaccessible to North America, and I'm super jealous of your location. Australia 41, Canada 92, UK 139, and then of course at the top is USA at 702. It was pretty expected. I thought USA, UK, and Canada would be at the top of the list. The second part of the question is how many countries do you subscribe to? I obviously don't subscribe to quite as many. I went through everybody who I've subscribed to who have, I think, legitimate BookTube channels, because I subscribe to other people as well. My top, of course, is the USA. I have 43 that I'm subscribed to that are definitely from the US. I have 9 more that I think are from the US, but are unknown because they aren't identified, at least not in their About section. I'm only subscribed to 8 Canadians. That seems really low as a Canadian. I should be subscribed to more Canadians, even on the BookTube kind of sphere. There's got to be a lot more Canadians that I'm just not subscribed to. UK, I'm subscribed to 15 people. I'm also subscribed to 2 Ireland, 2 Australia, Finland, Sweden, India, Netherlands, and Japan. So those are all very small subscriptions. So mostly I'm subscribed to USA, Canada, UK, and those are the people who are subscribed to me as well. As far as who I go to seek out, I'm not necessarily looking to see, oh, this person's from this country, this person's from that country. I legitimately, when I see people holding up books and I can tell that they're holding up manga, I will go and check out your channel because I want to subscribe to people who talk about things that I love and who, of course, I can talk probably a little bit more about the things that they're reading. I subscribe to a handful of other people who definitely do not talk about manga at all, but I think that when I comment on their videos, I kind of scare them away because I do have the name Manga Hoarder. I don't only read manga, but I majorly talk about manga, and yeah, so that's just sort of the way that I approach it. Really, if you talk about manga in your videos, there's a good chance that I have either watched them or I'm already subscribed to you. Question number 4 is, how do you handle your comment section? Do you have regular conversations with certain people? Certainly, there's a handful of people who I am surprised when I don't see comments from them within the first 2 days. And I'm always really excited to see people showing up again and again because we can have, you know, better conversations with things. You know, when that one person shows up and they say, hey, I like that book that you're holding up. You usually can't get too much into that discussion. It's usually like, oh, that's awesome, or thanks for the recommendation. It's not, you don't really get to know people that way, but when they keep showing up in your subscriptions, or when they keep showing up in your comments, you get to start to have a little bit of a friendship with these people, and I really, really love that. Like, I don't know too much about the people who comment a lot on my videos, but it certainly is great seeing them, and you can kind of get a taste of their personality, and I have a lot of fun talking with these people. So there are a handful of people who do come back regularly, and we have conversations. And then as far as how do I handle my comments, I reply to my comments as soon as I have time. For the most part, it usually is like a day or 2 after the video goes up, and then I can respond to a few people at a time. I usually, at the very least, like to either give you a thumbs up or a heart to let you know that I have read your comment. But I also really try to comment on everybody's comments, if it makes sense to comment. Like, if you just say, nice video, I probably will just, you know, do a heart. Or if you say, hey, you're holding up my favorite title, I might not reply to you too much. But if you actually legitimately ask me a question, or you start a conversation, or you want to, you know, give me a recommendation, or, you know, something like that, I will try and engage with you on my conversations or on my comments section. I'm a pretty small YouTuber, at least as far as subscribers go, and I still have a fairly small interaction with just, you know, it doesn't normally get out of hand. I haven't been to the point where I haven't been able to comment on people's comments. Maybe when the time comes when I have a lot of subscribers and a lot of comments, then maybe I might just reply to the first handful. I'm not really sure how I'll handle it at that point, but for now I just try and reply to everyone that I can. Of course, if you are nasty or condescending, well, if you're condescending, I might reply to you, but if you're nasty, I will just delete you and block you immediately. So I have no interest in interacting with people like that. And also, if you are kind of engaging with me and talking about illegal reading of scans, which happens a lot in my particular part of the community, I probably will not either comment or discuss it with you, just because I don't want to encourage reading of scans. But yeah, as far as it goes, I usually will answer as soon as I can, as soon as I have free time and I'm sitting at my computer and can do that, which usually happens every couple of days. Question number 5 is, do you interact with booktubers on other social media, and if so, which ones? I do a little bit. I use Twitter, but for the most part, like, I really don't comment a lot on people's Twitter. I really just thumbs up or retweet. I am on Instagram, but again, it's just, you know, thumbs up on images and or comments. I don't really reply too much on there. And apart from that, I'm not anywhere else. I just don't have time to spread myself thinner. Number 6 is, do you rely on booktubers for recommendations? No, I don't. I'm not really watching BookTube for recommendations. I read a very small select of prose fiction, and the majority of what BookTube is about is prose, either fiction or nonfiction. The majority of what people are reading and sharing are things that I am not about to read. So there are very few people who I watch who I have even remotely similar tastes to. There are a couple of people who I have taken recommendations for, and for the most part, I have not enjoyed them. You know, they made them sound much better than they were. So I definitely have been sold on books from booktubers, but I have never met another booktuber who had the same taste in books as me. So yeah, I don't normally get recommendations from booktubers, but I love hearing them talk about books, and I love the personalities that are on BookTube, and I just really enjoy listening to booktubers. It's pretty much what I listen to instead of listening to music while I'm at work, is I want to hear people talking about books. They'll give you sort of a synopsis, they're excited about reading, the excitement is infectious. I just really love the BookTube community, even though my participation in it is sort of on the fringe of it. Number 7 is, do you interact with booktubers on email regularly or occasionally? Certainly not regularly. Occasionally, yes, but even less occasionally than occasionally, I would say. Number 8 is, with tag videos, do you mix it up or do you tend to tag the same people? Because I am a manga reader, I will tend to tag people who are also part of the manga community. But I do try and tag people who I think will legitimately be interested in this tag. So, you know, as this is a BookTube community tag, I probably am not going to tag someone who I think doesn't watch BookTube at all. And I definitely wouldn't want to tag someone who I know doesn't watch my videos, or who I don't think watches my videos. I have tagged a few people like that, who I thought maybe watched my videos, and then, you know, of course never saw anything of it, and they never commented, and you just sort of feel like that tag kind of dies, which in a way it's fine. Like, I don't feel hurt by it, but at the same time, I'm not really sure what the tagging etiquette is. Like, am I supposed to tell you in a tweet or contact you through email that I've tagged you in a video if I know you're not watching my videos? I'm not really sure. So I just try and tag people who I know are watching and who legitimately might be interested in doing a tag video, or I want to legitimately hear their answers to a tag. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I do. It is kind of the same rotation of the same people, but it's not going to be the same people every single time. Number 9 is, have you ever mailed books to another booktuber? I have definitely mailed books out to people. I'm not sure. Yeah, some of them were booktubers, not just because I watched their videos and they said they liked a book or they wanted to read something. All but one of the books I have sent out have been for giveaways, either that I was hosting or someone else was hosting. It really has always been sort of a legitimate reason why I'm sending things out, but I do send things out. Just a little bit more kind of methodical, I think. Number 10 is, have you received books in the mail from other booktubers? I have received books from viewers. I have been told I was going to receive books from some companies, which none of them have turned into anything. None of them have materialized. And I have received books from giveaways of other YouTubers, but I don't know that I would call them BookTubers. So I would probably say no, but I have received things as someone who is on YouTube. And some of them were bookish. Number 11 is, have you visited or been visited by another booktuber? Not anyone that I'm not related to, but as you know, my sister also does YouTube videos sometimes. It's been a while. So, you know, I see her a lot, and we can talk about making videos, but apart from that, no. Number 12 is, do you do buddy reads? With the same people, are they booktubers? Of course I don't. I'm very introverted, and I'm very averse to, like, being on a tight schedule, and as much as I try and schedule my life, I constantly resist schedule. And because I'm so introverted, the idea of scheduling something with the intent of interacting with someone is very difficult for me. So it just seems like I have to put the brakes on anytime that idea kind of comes into my head. Because I know that I will just be incredibly irritating in the group because I won't show up or I won't have read the thing on time. I don't think it's a good idea for me, and I don't want to drive people crazy because of my bad behaviors. Number 13 is, tag some friends. I am going to leave your name down in the box below. Feel free to do this tag or not. Up to you. And if you haven't done this tag and you want to, you can also do that. I think a lot of the people that I would normally tag, I'm not entirely sure how involved in BookTube they are or how much they watch it. So I'm going to try and tag people who are more BookTube oriented. But if you want to participate in this tag as well, feel free. I tag you. It's fun to do. Thank you, Sue, for tagging me. I actually really appreciate it. I really did question whether or not I should even consider myself part of BookTube, and I always am sort of like tiptoeing around participating in readathons and things because it's like, oh yeah, here comes that weird comic book reader who doesn't read anything else. I do, but not very often, so I always feel kind of bad, particularly for people's readathons where they don't read any graphic novels or comics, and then here I come and only read comics. So yeah, so thanks for the validation, I appreciated it. Anyway, that's the tag for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.